So if you want to, you're going to get your theraband and put it underneath your feet right away, because we're going to start with a little bit of twisting. But put your theraband underneath your feet, get a little tension on that band, a little softness into the knees, and then just start to rotate. Twist to one side, twist to the other, just finding that little bit of tension on the band. And then as you do this nice slow motion twisting, just do the little check-in. How's your body feeling today? What's your energy level feeling like? How's your feet? How's your knees? How's your hips? How's your back? How's your shoulders? Are you holding tension in your jaw? Can you breathe in and out through your nose, but soften your jaw just a touch? All right, go for one more twist from side to side, and then we're going to take it into side bends, but stay holding on to that theraband so you get that little bit of feedback of resistance. All right, one more side bend to each side, and then carefully and slowly release that band from underneath your feet. And now we're going to take the first minute of intentional walking. So when we do our intentional walking, it's a lot about the footfall, because we want to just notice and pay attention. So if you're wearing your sneakers, and if you can, you're going to want to kick them off. When we do our intentional walking, we start with a little soft bend in the knees, a slight little tuck of the tail, and that's just to keep a little bit of an intention in the upper body. And then once you've got your way there, we start to walk forward and we go slow. So we roll through the bottom of the foot. Anybody who's got a tendency to bunions, to that big toe kind of hugging in towards the second toe, you want to walk slightly pigeon-toed, because we want to feel the big toe, the tip of the big toe being the last point that pushes off. So slow it down. Keep your knees a little bit soft. Find that big toe tip at the end of your walking pattern. And then it's the first thing that touches down when you walk backwards. So we go big toe, ball, and then the heel. And then once you've got that going on, you do want to keep your eyes on the horizon, softness in the knees, that little tuck of the bum. Got 10 seconds left. All right, now we're going to stick with our walking because we're getting our steps in today. But now we're going to knee lift and twist. So you're going to walk with that knee lift and twist. When we walk forward, twist towards the knee that's in lifted position. And then when you walk backwards, you have to slow it down. You're going to twist towards the standing leg. So you're going to make your brain do a little bit of work to notice those varying patterns. Walking forward, you can go probably a little bit faster. Knee lift, twist towards the knee. And then as you walk backwards, knee lift, twist towards the standing leg. That twist towards the standing leg maneuver is really good for building strength around our knees. So don't worry about it looking pretty. Go slow, be mindful, take the time to get a little bit of that good work in. Ten seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're still walking, but now we're going to add a calf raise. And then you can probably pick up the pace just a little bit. So take a step, calf raise, take a step, calf raise, and then that's the pattern. Once you've got that going on, though, if you can, keep your eyes on the horizon. So no more looking down at the feet, because you know where you're going. Then you tune into your proprioception. Where are you connected to the space that you're working in? 15 seconds left. All right, that's time. Okay, now our last minute of doing our walking pattern, we're going to walk and do the Winnie the Pooh. So you're going to step forward, bend down, touch the ground, reach up, step forward, bend down, touch the ground, or reach up. And then you're going to go for like a pace that makes sense to you. You do want to pick up the pace just a little bit because the next few minutes is where we get our cardio in. So we'll get our heart rate up a little bit, get the breath up a little bit. But here, take the time to notice, how do your knees feel? How does your butt and your back feel? How do your arms feel in that overhead reach? How does your balance and coordination feel? I haven't asked this in a while, but did you get a good night's sleep last night? Sleep can really play a role in how we go into our intensity of our work. So if you had a rough night's sleep, you be mindful about how fast you go. 15 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into some curtsy lunges, but now we're picking up the intensity. So you're going to curtsy. You can either bend down, touch the ground, or you're just going to go for a nice quick pace, more like ice skaters, but we want a little dynamicity to our work. So as quick as you can go, where it feels good, where you feel safe and comfortable in the pace that you've chosen. As you start to pick up the pace, your heart rate will go up, your breath will increase. To the best of your ability, you want to try to keep maintaining breath in and out through the nose until you can't anymore, and then you breathe in and out through your mouth. You're already halfway there. Five seconds left. You got this. All right, now we're taking it for a jog. So now you're going to jog yourself forward and backwards. If backwards jogging doesn't feel safe today, turn yourself around and just do the forward jog. If you've got a bit of space, you can go off your mat. Up the intensity as much as you can here, so you feel like you're just getting a good bit of work in, a little springiness to your footfall. Eyes on the horizon, looking forward. You've got it. You're already halfway there. Three seconds left. Jog your way to the middle of your mat. And now we're going to go jump and turn. So you're going to jump, turn to one side, turn yourself all the way to the other side, or you split the difference. So you might jump, turn, jump to the middle, jump to the side, or you might say jumping doesn't feel good to me today. A lively step, 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 step. Choose the one that feels good. Big jump, somewhere in the middle, or a lighter pace, something that feels good to your body. You're already halfway there. Maybe you do a little of all of them because they're all kind of fun. Ten seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to take it into a dynamic Winnie the Pooh. So bend down, touch the ground, arms up, elbow to knee, elbow to knee. Add that little cross crawl, but get your heart rate up. already halfway there. You got this. Ten seconds left. All right, that's time. Last bit of cardio. Wide squat position. You're going to go squat to the calf raise, and you're going to go for a nice dynamic pace. Shoot for a breath connected work if you can, or at least exhale on that big push up from your squat position. Calf raise, half calf or full calf, go for the one that feels just available and normal, and it flies off really easy. Nice job. 15 seconds left. And time. Beautiful. All right, march it out. Let your heart rate come back to a slightly normal pace. And as you march it out, we're going to take our theraband. Now, if you've got anything going on, let's say top surface of the skin, if you've got any tenderness, you might choose to just go for a little bit more of a hold in front of the chest. But if your skin will allow, you're going to take that band and you're going to put it behind you like your bra strap. And you're going to get it really tight against back body. And then you're going to double wrap around one arm, get a little hook of your thumb, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Double wrap it around. So you've got it wrapped around the back, wrapped around the arms, and then it holds a little bit. It does pinch the skin a little bit. That's why I say if you've got tender skin, leave it off. But it's tugging on the fascia a little bit and broadening across back body. And now we're going to go into a little tightrope walking. You're going to start to tightrope walk the perimeter of your mat. Try to go for heel to toe, maybe an inch of space between the two, a stance that feels good. Nice, tight, firm hold on that band, using that for feedback in the upper body. And then just slow, careful walking pattern around the perimeter of your mat. Once you know where you're going, you want to keep your eyes forward. Keep a little tension pushing out into that band. Let your breath slow down a little bit. Hopefully here you're getting it to come back in and out through your nose. Awesome. And if you're walking in one particular direction and you like that little reverse, go the other way. And time. Nicely done. Okay, take a second. Woo! Unwrap your arms. If it's double wrapped, give your shoulders a little shimmy shake. All right, now we're going to come down into our kneeling position for kneeling bicep curls. So the purpose of the kneeling is to get a little bit of activation of the core muscles. So when we come into those kneeling positions, it can be just put you slightly off balance. So then your core muscles have to work a little harder. If you want to stick with your theraband, you're just going to tuck the little U of your band underneath your knees. And then you choke up on that band as firm as you can, and then start to find your bicep curl. When we do our bicep curls, we want our elbows to stay roughly connected to the side of our body. So it's not an uppercut punch. It's a bend of the elbows and a slow, controlled return. We got 1 minute on the clock. Take your time. If you're using that TheraBand, get as much tension on the band as you can so you get that good resistance going in the up direction and some good resistance going down. Nice, Lori, beautiful. Maintain a little squeeze in your butt muscles. That's going to help get the core muscles to keep you nice and sturdy. 15 seconds left. And to let you know where we're heading next, we're going to do some push-ups. We're going to alternate between a high push-up and a knee down push-up. And I'm going to offer the suggestion that you play with the position of your hands to find your optimal wrist position and finger position. All right, take a second, get that band out from underneath your knees, put your hand weights down, starting with your knee down push-up position. I'm going to say perhaps you go slightly wide with your arms with the fingertips slightly pointing in, and then walk your knees back. And you're going to see how that feels just in your planking position. And then once you go, okay, let's take it for a test drive. Bend the elbows, push your way back up, pick up your knees, bend your elbows, push your way back up. And then maybe you switch, go fingertips pointing forward, knees down, bend your elbows, heart comes down, push your way up, pick up your knees, take a push up in that position. Notice what feels harder. Set your knees down. Now maybe you turn the fingertips out a little bit, and you're going to see how that feels. Knee down position, push yourself up, lift the knees. See how that feels. That one's definitely harder for me, but some people like that position a lot more. For me personally, the fingertips slightly in is my optimal position. So now play around with just a little variation of your hands. Go for the knee down version. Go for the knee up version. Yes, nice job. You got 3 seconds left. All right, that's time. Now we're going to come up to our tabletop position. We're going to go fire hydrants with a circle. So we're going to go, let's say, left elbow and forearm down. The right knee is going to go out to the side and just the back half of the circle. So we're going to go 30 seconds on one side, lift out to the side, and then circle around. And then once you've got that going on, maintain a slight firmness in your abdomen so your table stays sturdy. Notice your breath. Three seconds left on this side. All right, when you're ready, we're switching sides. Right elbow and forearm down. Now left leg's going to do the work. Fire hydrant, and then circle around, but just the bottom half of the circle. All right, that's time. Take a second, shake out your bum. Now, if you want to, we're going to do a little bit of the hyperpressive technique, that abdominal vacuum. So if you want to, you'll grab your theraband and you'll put it across bra strap, upper back body area. And then you're going to come down elbows and forearms. And then when you're there, you're going to push a little into that band. So we broaden the upper back body. If you don't like the band, leave it off. I'd rather you do good breath work versus holding onto a band and feeling uncomfortable the whole time. So if the band feels good, push into the band in the back of the body. Now take a big 360 breath, like you're trying to move the stretch band across your back with your breath. And then exhale as slow as you can. All right, now get your toes curled under, get your feet into dorsiflex position. Press lightly into your elbows, broaden your back. Take another breath. And you want to feel your breath trying to move that band in your upper back body. One more moment to feel that breath, and then we're going to take a hyperpressive or an abdominal vacuum. So take a nice big 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. And then you prepare. Swallow, close off nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed. Take a fake inhalation, but don't let any air come in, and hold your breath for a moment. And then when you're ready, release your air. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up and around. Now we're going to go into, here's where you're going to get to choose your own adventure. For some of us, it's going to feel good to just stay either in the kneeling portion of the Turkish getup or in the low portion, or you can do both. So we're going to put them together and then you'll choose what you want. One arm is going to be up. That's the same arm as your front leg. You bring your hand down to the ground, plant that palm. You take that leg and free it up so it comes and kicks through, and then you come all the way down. And then you come all the way back up. You look to that top end, you come up, you push into that grounded arm, you bring that knee back through, and then you're back to the kneeling portion. Now you might just go, I just want to stick with the kneeling, which case you push the hip out and you come back up. Or you might say, I just want to stick to the bottom half of the portion, and you just do the sit-up maneuver, or you put them both together. Choose your own adventure, one, the other, or both. We got 30 seconds, so you're just gonna go for the one that feels really nice. You don't have to do too many. So if you like playing around with, and this is where that space where the yoga block might help you, because you can bring the floor up to meet that hand. It puts a little space between you and the ground, and it just might help clear that space for the knee to come through. You've got it. Nice job. All right, finish up whatever version you're working on, and then you're going to take it to the other side. So when we do the sit-up version, if the right knee is bent, the right hand is up, we come up to the sit-up, push our way through, kick that foot into that kneeling position, and then we come all the way up. We got 30 seconds on this side. One, both, or the other. Choose again, the one that feels really good to you. There's no right or wrong. All right, that's time. Now, starting in a seated position, you're going to grab your theraband. We're going to wrap it around a couple of times. We want as much tension. So you're going to kind of walk your legs together, get your thighs and your knees together. Put your band on top of your thighs, wrap it around underneath, and then see if you can wrap it a second time. You want to really get some good tight tension on that band. Once you've got that good tight tension on your band, then you're going to hold that tension, come down onto your back. Hold and maintain that good tension. And now you're just going to think like you're doing a supine clam. You're going to push your legs out into the band. And I hope that it's so tight that they won't get very far, so that you feel that good resistance, and then you bring it back in. And then you're going to add a little bit of a laddering count. So you're going to push out and hold for one, come back in slow. If you lose tension on the band, put it back in, push out and hold for two, come back in, and then slowly bring your count up, push out and hold for three. All right, that's time. Take a second to bring yourself up just so you can unwrap your legs. And then as you unwrap your legs, whoo, give them a little butterfly action, and they should feel pretty loosey-goosey. They should feel pretty free to move in and out. Hopefully that feels pretty good. All right, now we're gonna come down and do some single leg hip bridge. We're gonna just alternate one hip bridge and then the other. So come down onto your back, arms up, big challenge. Elbows down helps with the assist. Arms down, roughly neutral. So elbows are just going to give you that little point where you can kind of help push and leverage. But if you're like, where am I supposed to be feeling this work coming from? And you like that little palpation, you're going to touch your fingers to your bum. And when you come down neutral, the butt should feel a little soft. And then as you start to push into that grounded leg, your butt should firm up underneath your hands. So we got 1 minute on the clock, alternate between the two. Once you feel like you've got some good idea of where that work is coming from, feeling that firmness in the butt muscles, then maybe you float those arms up. Put that big challenge in. Nice work. Of course, we're using the breath here. We're going to exhale as we push into the foot to lift up, and inhale for the return. All right, even yourself out. And now we're going to take it back to some core work. So we're going into that single leg stretch. So right knee is going to come into the chest. Left leg is going to stretch out nice and long. We come into that curled up position. We stay in the curled up position and we switch. For single leg stretch, you want to focus a little bit on that leg that's reaching out and away. But of course, we don't want any strain in the neck. So if you feel like you're starting to feel too much tension in the neck, you either take a rest for a moment or you press that belly button just a little bit further to the spine to keep the core muscles doing the majority of the work. Ten seconds left. And time. Nicely done. Lower your head, lower your chest. Pull those knees into your chest and rock your knees just a little bit side to side. Now, our last minute of work is going to be abdominal vacuum in the supine position. So once you've rocked out your back just enough, put your feet down for wide hip bridge position, dorsiflex the feet. Anchor the back of your rib cage down into the ground. Hands are going to find the rib cage and you're going to hold there, creating a little bit of resistance with your hand. Lengthen the back of your neck so your eyes are fixed on the horizon, ceiling above you. And now just let the breath come in and out and just notice the neutral breath. And hopefully you can feel a little bit of movement of breath into your hands. All right, now that you've got that breath coming in at a slow and intentional pace, now we're going to go for 3 cycles of breath. On the last one, we'll add that abdominal vacuum. If you have uncontrolled blood pressure or any recent abdominal surgery or a hernia, skip the abdominal vacuum. Just do the breath work. It's breathing alone. Without breath, very short life, right? So hands on the rib cage, lengthen the back of your neck, get your feet in dorsiflex position. Take a big 360 breath and fill your rib cage up. Try to maintain that shape of the rib cage, and as you exhale, soft belly, just let your air go. And the way I position my fingers is that my heels of my hands are on the side of the ribs and my fingertips fall over the front of the rib cage so I can feel that soft letting go of my abdomen as I exhale. Take another big 360 breath. Fill your rib cage up. Try to maintain that shape of the rib cage. Exhale, soft belly, let your air go. All right, last cycle of breath here. Inhale, 360 breath, fill your rib cage up. And then you exhale slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Soft belly, prepare, swallow. Close off your nose, mouth, and throat, or pinch your nose closed, keep your mouth closed. The belly is soft. The diaphragm does the work. We take that fake inhalation, let the diaphragm lift upward, let the rib cage lift, open, and expand. You want to feel that expansion into your hands if you can find it. Hold breath for a moment. And then when you're ready, break that seal. Let the air come in nice and slow. Relax the dorsiflexion of your feet and take it right into some windshield wipers with the knees. The purpose of the dorsiflexion of the feet is it shifts the fascia on the inside and it holds the fascia in a good position so that we can get the diaphragm to fly up. So just so you know, that's why we do what we do. Take one more swish of those knees from side to side and then bring your right knee into your chest. Let your left leg go nice and long. Take one more breath. All right, switch sides. Bring your left knee into your chest. Let your right leg go nice and long. For my yoga friends, you know this is our toe tuck supine twist. Let your left leg go long, but keep a little bit of a bend in the knee. Now take your right toes and tuck your right toes behind the pit of your left knee. Then you take that right knee and you let it roll over to the left. So you come into a little supine twist there. Let your right arm open out nice and wide. Your left hand can anchor the thighs down or just keep it in a neutral position. Go for what feels good there. And then once you've got this nice little twisted position, take a slow, deep breath. All right, when you're ready, slowly roll back to center. Right leg's gonna go long, but with a little bit of a bend in the knee. Take your left toes, tuck them behind that right knee pit, and then take the left knee over to the right. Left arm opens out nice and wide. Head maybe turns in the opposite direction of your knee, only if that feels good. And then you take a second to slow your breath down. Awesome. When you're ready, slow unwind, release that toe tuck, and we're going to come up to a seated position. Legs are going to go out nice and wide. So you're going to kick them out to a good positive stress. You want to feel like there's a good stretchy feeling right into the inner thighs, maybe into the groin. We don't want to have too much in the backs of the knees. So if you're feeling it more in the backs of your knees, bend your knees just a touch. You want to go pinky toes actively pulling back, and then you're just going to walk your hands forward for that first little feeling of stretch. And then once you feel that first little feeling of stretch, stop there, take a big breath. One more moment. And then walk it in and go for crisscross applesauce. So just a little easy seat. And then arms are going to be in a lifted position and it's a QL wobble. So you're going to wobble into one sit bone, but it's rather than like a push, think a little wobble, lift, a little wobble, lift. So we've talked a little bit about that fascia of that diamond shaped fascia in the low back and the QL muscles being our hip hike muscles. So we just kind of want to wobble around the QL muscles and give the fascia like a little tip of the diamond. All right, take one more wobble and then take a second to just give your shoulders a little roll and a wiggle. Take one arm, bring it across your chest, tuck the shoulder down. Once you feel that nice little stretch across the top of the shoulder head, tuck your chin towards your chest and take a nice big breath. Lift your head up, slow release that arm, taking it to the other side. Bring the arm across, tuck the shoulder down. Once you feel that little stretch across the shoulder head, tuck your chin towards your chest and take a nice slow breath. Awesome. Slowly lift your head, release your arms, shrug out those shoulders one last time, shake out the etch sketch, grab your foam roller if you're sticking around. We're going to do a little toe extension, and then we're going to work the muscle inside of the shin with a little bit of depth. So find your standing position. Get your foam roller, clear your gear that you don't want around. And then once you've got your foam roller in tall position, we're going to go big toes and maybe big toe, second toe into extension on the foam roller. So we want the toe in a lifted position. And then you're just going to keep the toe in a lifted position and a little bop of the knee, like you're taking your foot for a little walk. So you're just going to do a little heel lift, bop the knee, and a slow return. All right, now we're going to move it down just a touch. So go maybe second toe, third toe, maybe like we shoot for one, the other guys come along for the ride, and then do the little walk. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. All right, now we're going to move it on down to third toe. So readjust, scoot your toes on over, let anybody else come along for the ride that wants to, and then take it for a walk. Nice. And then when you're ready, move it on down to that fourth toe, and then take it for a walk. All right, move it on down to that last toe. Anybody else that wants to come along for the ride can, and then we take it for a walk. Beautiful. When you're ready, slowly release, taking it over to the other side. Get that big toe in extension. Once you've got big toe in extension, take it for a little walk. As you know, one side might always feel a little different from the other. Range of motion might vary, so we don't force it. We want to just collaborate with what we've got and make it move in a nice way so that the nervous system feels supported. When you're ready, move it on to that second toe. Let anybody else come for the ride that wants to, and then take it for a little walk. Beautiful. When you're ready, move it on down to that third toe. Take it for a walk. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. All right, and then when you're ready, move it on down again. Fourth toe, take it for a walk. Beautiful, and then move it on down one last time. Get those pinky toes into extension and take it for a little walk. Nice. One more moment there. And then take a second just to twinkle out your toes, give them a little wiggle. Now we're going to come down, and like how you position yourself is just going to be like what feels comfortable to you, because we want to get to the inside. We're going to start up a little bit high. So inside of the shin bone, but up a little bit high. So come down onto the ground. I go for a sort of a side position. So I got my bottom leg sort of bent, and then I'm on my side. And then I'm going to zoom in just a touch. So we get the inside of the shin muscle onto the roller, and then we're going to do a little turn in, turn out. So we want to just make it so that we can get a little bit of roll from the thigh bone. So we get the thigh turning up and turning in, and we're rolling into that muscle and then rolling off. And then just go nice and slow and tune in and notice how it feels. Look at these convenient pants, so stretchy. I'm so in love with these pants. Karen's changed my life in so many special ways. All right, if you can find a little forward and back roll, like go for like an inch forward, an inch back. All right, now land on that spot and point and flex your foot. Nice. All right, now when you're ready, you're just going to move it down an inch or two, move the roller down the leg, and then come back to that roll. Turn in, turn out. All right, roll onto that spot and see if you can take it a little bit forward and back. Nice. And then land on that spot, point and flex your foot. Awesome. And then when you're ready, move it on down another inch or so, back to the roll. Next time the toe and the knee are turned in, stay there, roll it a little bit up and down. Nice. Land on the spot, point and flex. Awesome. When you're ready, move it on down again, getting closer to the ankle joint. Turn it in, turn it out. All right, with that toe and the knee turned in, move, roll it a little bit up and down. Land on your spot, point and flex. Nice. One more moment there and then move it on down. And you want to be as close to the ankle, but not on the bony prominence of the ankle. And then come back to that roll, toe turn up, turn it in. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, take it for that little forward and back roll. Land on your spot, point and flex your foot. Wonderful. When you're ready, take a second, roll up so you get the calf muscle. I'm going to spin myself sideways. Roll up so you get the back of the calf muscle onto the roller, and then just a nice little pick up and roll. Go just for the one leg if you can. Great. And then turn the leg out to the side and take a couple of rolls there. Awesome. And then when you're ready, set it down and we're switching the work to the other side. So we're coming up again, high up near the knee to that muscle on the inside. Find that spot. And then how you get comfy on your mat is just going to be what feels good on this side. Turn the knee up, turn the knee in. Next time the knee is turned in, stay there, a little forward and back. Land on your spot and point and flex your foot. Wonderful. When you're ready, move that foam roller down just another inch or so. And then once you found your new spot, turn the toe in, turn the toe out. All right, one more turn in, turn out, and then roll it a little up and down. Land on your spot, point and flex your foot. Awesome. And then when you're ready, move it down another inch or so, find a new spot, and then come back to your turn out, turn in. Next time the toe is turned in, stay there, move it up and down. Land on your spot, point and flex your foot. Excellent. When you're ready, move it on down one more time. Find a new spot. Toe turn out, toe turn in. The next time the toe is turned in, stay there, move it up and down. Land on your spot, point and flex your foot. All right, now we're moving it down to that ankle point. So you're going to get as close to the bony prominence of your ankle without being on the bone itself. And then once you're there, turn it in, turn it out. Next time the toe is turned in, stay there, move it up and down. Excellent. Land on your spot, point and flex your foot. Nice. One more point and flex, and then we're rolling across so that we can get onto the back of the calf muscle. Single leg action if you can, and then we're just rolling up and down. Bye, Lori. Have fun at the groomers. All right, one more good roll up and down, and then turn the leg out, get the outside of that shin or outside of the calf. Wonderful. One more roll up and down. And now we're going to go backs of the thighs onto the roller. So we're going to come into that low position to do the drag. So you're going to come down onto your back, tuck that foam roller underneath the back of your thighs best you can. And then we let the legs be a little bit weighted on the roller and we drag them in and out. When we do this maneuver, we want to feel like it kind of tugs the skin. So you get this little feeling of what it works in is that the outside of the thigh, it kind of just slightly gently pulls the skin and connective tissue and any fascial adhesions that you might have on the sides of the thighs. So we get that nice gentle pulling motion and then glide it back in. Wonderful. One more in and out, and then we're going to go butterfly resting position. So you're going to walk your feet in so that they're in that butterfly shape, soles of the feet together. Get that foam roller so it just hugs and supports right underneath your thighs, and then just give everything a second to chill out. Next up, you're going to choose your own adventure, either 5 little crunches, or you might say, I want to take the resting option because that's what my body needs. So if you want the active option, you're going to go hands in front of the heart space and we're going to take a little crunch and curl. And if you're like, nope, I want the resting option, you're just going to let your hands rest and do absolutely nothing but breathe. When you're ready for that crunching option, on an exhale, reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Lift like you're trying to lift your sternum up to reach your hands. Then inhale, slow return to the ground. Exhale, belly button to the spine. Lift your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Imagine you're trying to reach your sternum up towards your hands. And then inhale for that slow return. Exhale, belly button to the spine. Lift your chest, reach up to the fingertips, and then inhale, slow return. 2 more to go if you can. Exhale, belly button to the spine. Lift up. Inhale, return. Last one here. Exhale, belly button to the spine. Lift up. Inhale, slow return, and then use your hands. Help lift yourself up. We're going to spin that foam roller so it comes behind us, and then take some good lengthy rolls. If you have a good strong core and you feel good and solid about it, you're going to start a little bit lower. So you're going to kind of start for that low back point and then start to roll yourself up. But when we do that, we do want to keep a little bit of a firmness in our center. So we don't want to slack into that low back. We want it to feel a little bit held up and supported, because it's nice. You can get into that diamond of the fascia, but you don't want to leave it unsupported and just kind of compromise your low back and make it feel worse. So go there if it feels good. Otherwise, stay in that upper portion where it's a little bit more supported by the rib cage and the bony structure. And then once you've got a nice, good, lengthy roll going on, see if you can just slow it down and let your arms move in any way that feels good. I love to let my arms just kind of fly up when I go up into that upper shoulder range, but only if that feels good. For some of us, it feels a little bit better to just support the head. And for some of us, you just got to tuck the ponytail up so you don't steamroll your ponytail. All right, go for one or two more good, slow, intentional rolls of the upper back, low back, middle back. Find whatever feels good. And then we're going to pop our butt up onto the roller. So when you're ready for it, sit your butt up onto that roller. Take your time as you find your way there. And then once you've got your butt onto the roller, we're going to spin off and get the IT band on. So you're going to spin off so you get the most of the side of your thigh onto the roller. Start with the little lean on, lean off, and just notice how that feels. And then if that Noki hand helps, you're going to press into the thigh and just press the side of your thigh into the roller. And I kind of work my way up towards my knee and then work my way up towards my hip. All right, one more roll of that IT band. And then when you're ready, take it over and across to the other side. Pivot yourself so you get that most of the side of your thigh onto the roller as you can. Start with the little lean on, lean off. Because especially if you have a tendency towards really tight sides of the hips, it might feel good to stay with that looser bit of work. If it feels good, then you add that Noki hand where you just kind of push in and roll just a little bit. Excellent. One more roll there, and then bring it back to center. And now we're going to take it into that big roll across the glute. So recenter your butt and then find those side glutes. Roll to one side and then roll to the other. All right, the next time you roll over to that right side, stay there and take it for a little roll up and down. Beautiful. One more little roll up and down there. And then when you're ready, take it over and across to the other side. Take a few slow rolls up and down there. One more good roll up and down there. Now we're going to spin it around so we can get the foam roller underneath the front pockets of our jeans. So come off and around in a way that makes good sense to you. Flip that foam roller around and we want to line it up with the front pockets of our jeans. So come down into that prone position, get the foam roller lined up. And then start with the little hip slush. So keep the hip points connected to the roller and slush your hips just a little bit side to side. When we do hip slushing here, very different from what we do in the yoga practice, because in yoga practice, we're coming all the way down into prone position. So the belly's supported and the spine's not in an extended position. So for this hip slush, I typically keep my elbows connected to the ground and there's a little bit of activeness in the upper body, just so that we're not collapsing in the low back. All right, take one more little hip slush and now we're going to take it for a roll. Roll over to the right, roll across those hip bones, take it over to the left, and then just go nice and slow, finding that nice little roll. Beautiful. One more little roll from side to side. And then as you come up to center, you're going to push your way up to prop yourself into the tabletop position. Hands are going to find the roller, and we're just going to walk it out to that puppy pose position. So keep your hips fairly in line with your knees. Stretch your arms out. Let your upper body have just a little bit of softness. Take a nice big breath. All right, as we bring the roller back in, we're going to come up to a standing forward fold position. So bring the roller in underneath you, curl those toes under, walk your feet in so that they can find that foam roller, and then just take it for a little steam roll. One more steam roll there. Leave the foam roller on the ground, bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, slow roll your way up, plant your right foot onto the roller, center of the foot, and take it right for that bug squish. One more little bug squish, and then take it for a nice soft roll. One more nice soft roll, and then when you're ready, switch other foot onto the roller, take it into your bug squish. One more moment with that bug squish, and then take it into that soft roll. My arms are T-Rexing. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Problematic. All right, take one more roll of that foot and then both feet on the ground. Take a nice big breath. Reach your arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, bend your knees more than you think you need to, fold towards your feet. Notice how the back of your body feels. And then when you feel ready for it, slow roll your way back up. Take your time. Give your shoulders a little shrug. Give your body a little bounce and a little wiggle. Shake out the Etch-a-Sketch. You guys are amazing. Nice work today. Honestly.